Ladies and gentlemen, today I want you to pause for a moment and think about the word strength. We often imagine strength as something loud, visible, and celebrated. But some of the strongest people in the world never stand on a stage, never receive applause, and never ask to be seen. Their strength shows up quietly in ordinary days under extraordinary pressure. Today's story is about one such strength. It is the story of a daughter who did not wait for life to become easy, who did not wait for someone else to step forward, and who became her family's strongest support when the world expected her to be the weakest. She did not wake up one day and decide to be heroic. Her journey began the way many real stories do, with responsibility arriving before readiness. When hardship knocked on her family's door, it did not ask for permission. It arrived as illness, financial strain, emotional loss, or broken stability. And in that moment, while others felt fear and uncertainty, this daughter made a quiet choice. She chose not to step back, but to step up. That single decision changed everything. At an age when she could have focused only on her own dreams, she learned to balance duty with hope. She became the one who listened when others were exhausted, the one who planned when others felt lost, and the one who kept moving when everyone else felt like giving up. There were days when her strength felt heavy, when she wished someone would ask her if she was okay. Yet she carried on, not because she was fearless, but because she understood something powerful, that love sometimes means becoming the support you once needed yourself. What makes her story remarkable is not that she never struggled, but that she refused to let struggle define her limits. She learned skills life never formally taught her: problem solving under pressure, emotional resilience, and leadership born from compassion. She became a bridge between despair and hope for her family. When resources were scarce, she found ways. When voices were tired, she spoke calmly. When hope felt fragile, she protected it like a flame in the wind. And in doing so, she transformed not just her family's survival, but their belief in what was possible. Her strength did not erase her dreams, it refined them. Every sacrifice taught her discipline. Every challenge sharpened her confidence. She did not become smaller under responsibility. She became stronger, wiser, and more grounded. The same daughter who once leaned on others became the pillar others leaned on. And somewhere along the way, she discovered that strength and kindness can exist together, that leadership does not require authority, and that courage often looks like consistency. She stepped into responsibility long before life ever gave her time to prepare, and that is where her real strength began to reveal itself. Responsibility did not arrive politely or gradually. It arrived suddenly, heavy, and unannounced. One day, she was simply a daughter with dreams, plans, and expectations for the future, and the next day she was standing in a role that demanded maturity, decision-making, and emotional control far beyond her years. Many people believe courage comes after confidence, but her story teaches us the opposite. Confidence often comes after courage, after the first brave step taken while the hands are still shaking and the heart is still unsure. What makes this moment powerful is not that she felt strong, but that she acted strong when strength felt out of reach. She did not wait for permission, guidance, or perfect conditions. She recognized that hesitation would cost her family stability, so she chose movement over fear. In doing so, she learned a truth that many never learn in a lifetime. Readiness is not something you wait for, it is something you grow into. Each small decision she made under pressure shaped her into someone capable of carrying far more than she ever imagined. There were moments when the weight of responsibility felt unfair, when she silently wondered why life had chosen her so early. Yet instead of allowing resentment to take root, she allowed purpose to grow. She showed up every day, even on days when exhaustion spoke louder than hope. She learned to manage problems she had never been taught to solve, to speak with clarity when emotions were overwhelming, and to make choices that placed her family's needs above her own comfort. That is not weakness. That is leadership in its rawest form. Listen closely to this part of her journey, because this is where many brave women are born. She did not step into responsibility because she was fearless. She stepped into it because someone had to. And once she did, something remarkable happened. The fear that once felt paralyzing slowly became manageable. The uncertainty that once felt unbearable became familiar territory. With every challenge faced, she discovered that her limits were far wider than she had been told. This is how silent strength is built, not through applause or recognition, but through consistent action when no one is watching. By stepping into responsibility before she felt ready, she rewrote the story of what a daughter could become. She became proof that bravery is not a moment of heroism, but a series of choices made in difficult moments, choices that quietly transform an ordinary woman into an unbreakable force. She did not only support her family with actions, she became their emotional and practical backbone, the steady center that held everything together when life felt unstable. In moments of crisis, families often look for someone to lean on, someone who can absorb the pressure without breaking. Unexpectedly, that person became her. She learned quickly that strength is not always about having the right answers, but about being present when uncertainty fills the room. When voices rose in fear or silence grew heavy with worry, she was the one who remained calm, reminding everyone that chaos does not have to control the outcome. Her role went far beyond responsibility on paper. She became the listener when emotions overflowed, the planner when confusion took over, and the problem solver when resources felt limited. While others reacted, she responded. While others panicked, she paused and thought. This ability did not come from training or experience. It came from necessity and an inner resolve to protect the people she loved. Every day required emotional intelligence, patience, and the strength to carry other people's fears without allowing them to crush her own spirit. There were nights when she carried the weight of unspoken worries, when she held her tears back so others could feel safe. She understood that emotional stability can be just as important as financial or physical support. By staying composed, she gave her family permission to breathe, to trust that someone was steering them through the storm. This is the kind of strength that often goes unnoticed, yet it is the kind that saves families from falling apart. What makes her story truly powerful is that she never positioned herself above others. She stood beside them. She did not demand recognition or authority. Instead, she led through consistency, reliability, and care. Her family learned to depend on her not because she asked them to, but because she proved, day after day, that she would not disappear when things became difficult. That trust became her greatest contribution. Through this role, she discovered that being a backbone does not mean being unbreakable. It means bending without shattering, supporting without losing compassion, and holding space for others while still believing in a better tomorrow. Her presence turned uncertainty into structure and fear into manageable steps forward. In becoming the emotional and practical backbone of her family, she demonstrated a form of bravery that is quiet, enduring, and deeply transformative, the kind that reshapes lives from the inside out. She made a powerful choice at a moment when many would have chosen resentment. Faced with repeated sacrifices, postponed dreams, and personal losses, she could have allowed bitterness to quietly settle into her heart. Instead, she chose a harder, braver path. She decided that sacrifice would not shrink her, it would strengthen her. This decision did not happen once. It happened again and again, in small, private moments where no one was watching and no one was applauding. That is where real transformation begins. Every sacrifice demanded something from her: time, comfort, opportunities, and sometimes even her voice. Yet rather than viewing these sacrifices as proof of what she was losing, she reframed them as lessons in resilience. She learned patience not because life was kind, but because impatience would have broken her spirit. She learned discipline not because she had endless energy, but because survival required focus. Slowly, without realizing it, she was building inner power, an unshakable confidence that came from knowing she could endure what once felt impossible. There is a critical moment in every brave woman's journey when pain can either poison the heart or polish the character. She stood at that crossroads many times. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" she began asking, "What is this teaching me?" That shift changed everything. It allowed her to grow without becoming hardened, to lead without becoming cold, and to give without losing herself. Her sacrifices did not silence her dreams. They refined them, shaping goals rooted in purpose rather than ego. What makes her strength extraordinary is that it remained compassionate. She did not wear her sacrifices as a badge of suffering or use them to control others. She carried them quietly, allowing them to deepen her empathy. She understood struggle not as a weakness, but as a shared human experience. This understanding made her a source of strength not only for her family, but for anyone who crossed her path and felt unseen or unheard. This is the kind of power that lasts, not the power that demands attention, but the power that builds character. By turning sacrifice into inner strength rather than bitterness, she rewrote the narrative that hardship creates broken people. She became living proof that adversity, when met with courage and clarity, can shape a woman into someone grounded, wise, and unbreakable. Her story reminds us that the most meaningful victories often happen internally, long before the world ever notices. She redefined strength in a way the world rarely celebrates. While many associate power with authority, volume, or control, she demonstrated a quieter, deeper form of leadership, one rooted in love, consistency, and moral courage. She did not stand at the front demanding attention. She stood in the middle, holding people together. Her leadership was not announced, yet it was unmistakable. When decisions needed to be made, people naturally looked to her, not because she claimed power, but because she had earned trust through action. What made her leadership remarkable was its simplicity. She showed up every single day, even when she was tired, uncertain, or emotionally drained. She led through reliability, through keeping her word, and through doing what needed to be done without expecting recognition. This kind of leadership is built slowly, over time, and it is often overlooked, yet it is the kind that creates lasting impact. Her family did not follow her because they were told to. They followed because her presence made them feel safe. Love was not just an emotion in her journey, it was a strategy. She understood that people do not rise when they feel judged or pressured. They rise when they feel supported. By leading with empathy, she created an environment where fear softened and confidence could grow. She listened before speaking, understood before responding, and corrected without humiliating. In moments of conflict, she chose calm over control, proving that gentleness can be a form of strength, not a weakness. Her quiet leadership also challenged deeply rooted assumptions about what powerful women look like. She did not need to become aggressive to be respected, nor distant to be effective. She remained emotionally present while still standing firm in her decisions. That balance became her signature strength. It showed that a woman does not have to lose her softness to be strong, and she does not have to abandon love to lead. Through her example, strength took on a new meaning. It became patience under pressure, integrity when shortcuts were tempting, and courage expressed through care. Her love-driven leadership did not seek applause, yet it transformed the people around her. She proved that influence does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it works quietly, shaping lives through trust, stability, and unwavering commitment. In redefining strength this way, she left behind more than solutions. She left behind a model of bravery that endures long after words fade. This story matters because it reminds us that brave women are not always found in headlines. They are found in homes, in quiet sacrifices, and in everyday resilience. A daughter who becomes her family's strongest support teaches us that strength is not about age, position, or recognition. It is about choice. The choice to rise when life presses down. The choice to carry responsibility with grace. And the choice to believe that even in the hardest moments, you can become someone others depend on. So if you are listening to this and you feel overwhelmed by responsibility, remember this story. You may not realize it yet, but the weight you are carrying is also shaping your power. Like this daughter, you are stronger than you think, braver than you feel, and more capable than you imagine. And one day, your story may become the reason someone else believes they can stand too.